Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome to another channel member sponsored video. In case you didn't know, I have channel memberships here at the Book Refuge, and one of the perks for my romantic renegades and fated friends is that they get to sponsor a video every month, which basically means that it is a video idea that gets prioritized because I have a lot of ideas and some of them just sit around and don't get made, and some of them I put to a vote with my channel members and they get to choose. And so today, out of the 4 options that I put up for them, they chose recent Kindle Unlimited recommendations. So the way that I broke this down is that Kindle Unlimited is a service with Amazon that I've been using off and on for about 8 years. I know it's not available everywhere, but it is a service I'm allowed to use, and there are quite a few of my viewers who are able to use it as well. So these are books from basically from the beginning of the year to now that I read using Kindle Unlimited. A lot of them I actually own because I like them so much. So this just goes to show that if I read a book on my digitally and I love it, it's probably going to end up on my bookshelves because I'm crazy like that. So some of these are going to be like straight up just authors that I'm mentioning, and others might be more specific books or whatever. But also these are all books that I have talked about ad nauseum. So I probably won't go into too much detail about this. So this will be a bit more of a, quickie. But I have to show off one thing before we go any further, and that's that I got my shirt from the bonfire campaign that Romantically Swept Away did. And it is this. It says "Feeling Clinch AF," and it is a clinch cover on a shirt. It is so beautiful. I'm glad I got it in a bigger size because it's absolutely comfortable. I got one of the long sleeve ones just because I like those for being comfy. And I can slide it on my arms if I want to. But I'm in love with it. I'm in love with it. Sorry for you if you couldn't buy it because it was a limited time campaign. But that's why you should follow me on Instagram so you can know about it because I was very excited. It's so gorgeous. This is going to show up in a lot of Instagram photos and I don't even care. But let's go ahead and dive in and get started. Forgot one of them. Okay, here we go. We have Descent by Sam Mariano. This is a very dark romance. This has non-con as in rape. This has dubious consent. This has stalking. This has coercion. This has a lot of crazy stuff. We have Calvin Cutter, who is a billionaire who can have whatever he wants, and he decides that he wants one of his employees' ex-girlfriends because he's seen her at a Christmas party and he wants her. And there is this club called Purgatory. I think it's called Purgatory. Which is the center of Blackheart Romance, of this series that they did by different authors, and he finds a way to get her there. And at this club there are lots of scenes that get acted out. There is BDSM situations, there is non-consensual things that usually get acted out, and this time he wants it to be for real, that he is forcing someone. So this is very twisty, this is very dark. Don't say I didn't warn you. All of Sam Mariano's books are on Kindle Unlimited, and this was a ride and a half, I will tell you that. Then we have the Spider's Mate Trilogy by Tiffany Roberts, which is my favorite writing duo, a husband and wife. They've been on my channel, I've interviewed them, and I'd read some of their books before and they were okay to me. They were good. They're great. There is lots of magical peens, there is creatures and monsters and magical beings. And then I was hearing about this spider romance and I was just like, what is this? And one day I just gave it a try, and I did not know that I was going to fall into a trilogy where I love this fucking Spider-Man just about more than anything else, okay? I love him. So this is a fated mate situation. This is a humans were traveling somewhere and they ended up on an alien planet, and our hero is a spider who's kind of a loner in his group, and he comes across this woman and he's just completely enamored of her, and they're mates. And this whole trilogy is about them and the other humans and how it's just beautiful. I don't know what else to say, but all of Tiffany Roberts' books are on Kindle Unlimited, and they are amazing. I'm going to be saying that a lot. We have the Seducers series by SM LaViolette. So we have Melissa and the Vicar, we have Joss and the Countess, and then there is Hugo and the Maiden, which I did have a copy of, but Amazon sent me the wrong cover because these books got recovers. Their original cover was not as sexy as these ones. These books are all about previous sex workers, and Melissa, she actually owned the brothel, and now she's having some health issues, so she needs to take a break away, and so she goes to this small town to live, where she meets a vicar whose name is Magnus, and he's a virgin hero. He is about 10 years younger than her, and they fall in love. Of course, Melissa is very much fighting her feelings. She doesn't believe that after the life that she's lived that she could fall in love, and Magnus, though he is a virgin, he proves to be a much more tenacious man than you would think. And then we have Joss and the Countess. This has an older heroine, and Joss previously used to work at the club that Melissa owns, and he has kind of left that, not so much because he didn't like the work, but he just didn't like not having the connection, you know, like the sex was a job, and it just wasn't fulfilling him anymore. So he actually becomes a servant / bodyguard for our heroine, whose name is Alicia, and they end up having an affair. And then Hugo is actually about, he's kind of sort of seen as like a troublemaker, not a full-on villain, but he's seen as a troublemaker in these previous two books. And when both Melissa and Joss have like left the business, he's left in charge with one of the other previous sex workers, and she causes him a lot of problems, so much so that he gets sold into slavery to this boat. He gets, well, not even slavery, he gets kind of like transported because he is arrested for a crime that he didn't commit, ironically, because he's committed a lot of crimes. And he ends up on this island, and he kind of had forgotten a little bit who he was, and he meets this woman who is like the daughter of a vicar, and they fall in love. And when he fully remembers who he is, he's like, oh shit, I'm not the nicest guy out there, and I'm in love with this maiden. So these are wonderful. SM LaViolette, she has a bunch of other books that are also on KU. But those are the ones I like the best. We have the Monstrous series by Mayne. This is a recent favorite. I've been talking about this nonstop. There is currently 5 books in the series. I only own 2 so far. But the first one in it is Soul Eater. And this is about, oh, I just love this. This is about Wynn, the Soul Eater, who he supposedly kills indiscriminately. And then we have Danny, who is in the army. He doesn't really want to be, but it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world. There are monsters there now, and it was either try to make it on your own or join the army and at least be fed and clothed, or so he thought. And he basically gets used as bait so that they can lure out Wynn and try to use these humans as bait so that they can kill Wynn. And Wynn ends up finding Danny very interesting, and they end up traveling together at a certain point in this book. These are gay romances, by the way. Wynn is kind of asexual. It's hard to explain because it's not as in like sexuality, I'm asexual. It's that his kind literally is asexual. They can both carry young and be the impregnator. It's hard to explain. Not the point of the book, but these are written as gay romances, even though some of the monsters are actually asexual, because there are actually other ones who can carry the young too. Then there's Eden. This is about a big purple monster. He has a tail, he wears a kilt, and he is sunshine. And our human is a military man who's trying to make his way with his friend Charlie back to the military base after a mission he was on. Base being the place where Wynn was held in that book, and it is destroyed. And Charlie gets kidnapped by some other monsters, and Eden happens to be there and helps him, and they end up traveling together to try to rescue Charlie, and it's delicious. And then there are a bunch of other books in that series, all with monsters. There's magical peons, there's size difference. It's delightful. They're all written as like I said, all written as gay romances. Then we have, of course, I'm just going to show these real quick. I literally talked these books into the ground and I do not care. And that is the, what are they called? The Queen's Monster series. And I believe almost all, I think all of J.T. Geissinger's books are in it. So we have Ruthless Creatures, we have Carnal Urges, we have Savage Hearts, we have Brutal Vows that's coming soon. There's also the Cruel Duet, which I have over there but didn't grab to. These are Mafia. These are badass, obsessive heroes, and they're queens, okay? That is what the title is. That is what it is. They are delightful. These books, I actually read them last year, and I gave them all three of them got 6 stars for me. I cannot wait for the 4th book. I cannot imagine that I will feel anything other than excitement for that one as well. Then there is the Phoenix Pack series by Suzanne Wright. I also think most of Suzanne Wright's series is on Kindle Unlimited. These ones are actually read and listen as well. So that means if you have an Audible app and Kindle Unlimited, that when you download this, you get the Audible for free as well, which is great. These are about fated mates, and most of them are about wolf shifters. We do get some other ones along the way. This first one is a fake mate, like fated mate, like they think they're pretending to be mates and then they actually are. It's delightful. I love this series as well. It's so good. There is Claire Kingsley's books. This is only the first one in the series, which I actually haven't read. But I got this as a gift because I am collecting these ones. But I have read books 3, 4, 5, and I'm currently reading the 6th. And then I've also read the, what's the other series? This is the Bailey Brothers. And there's also the Miles. Yep, there's also the Miles Brothers, which I've read as well. So Claire Kingsley, someone I fell in love with last year, and I love her writing. I love it because they're like sweet, small town. There's usually not an overabundance of angst in them. Like there's not a ton of miscommunication or issues going on, and they're very sexy still. And I love them. I love them so dearly. Definitely give her books a try. The audiobooks for these ones are also fantastic. Then just a couple more. I just recently read the Mazzone Mafia by Siobhan Davis. The first one in this is a secret baby, but it's mafia, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then there is a second chance romance, and then there is a widowed, she was in a domestic abuse situation, and the heroine's actually older. Really liked those. There is Kate Pearce. She has lots of historicals that are part of KU. I recently just read Simply Sexual, and it was basically historical erotic romance, but there was still a romance. This one was like an arranged marriage. And I really loved it because though the heroine is like a virgin at the start of it, she's very willing to be sexually enlightened by her hero, and that's fantastic. And then finally, the last one I want to mention for this video is Naomi Lucas. She has a series that is snake aliens. I know. People don't believe me that these are amazing until they try it. Okay, just try it. I know, it creeps you out. But if you like aliens, but you're nervous, you know, I've shared the spiders and you're nervous about the snakes, just try it. Because I will say, I haven't read quite as alpha of aliens in a long time. And I'm obsessed with the Naga's Brides, okay? Fantastic. Fantastic. So there you go. This was a quickie little video. Just wanted to spill out some KU recommendations for y'all. Make sure you check those out if you haven't. And if you don't have KU, I still recommend all of these books. Some of the first ones in series are free if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, so check those out. So thank you to my channel members for supporting this video. If you'd like to check out channel memberships, you can do so below, and I will see you next time. Bye.